Two guys.
Do it.
Actually, it's the two questions. Jack Driscoll's release, should we take that to mean that there is optimism that Aaron Brewer will be available week 1? And also, where in the world has Anthony Walker been? We haven't seen him. Is he safe? Is he fine? Is he injured?
Has he marked himself safe?
It'd be cool if they made a book. Where in the world? Or is that a show? I'm thinking Carmen's
History.
That's what got me. Totally distracted. The first question was. Okay. So it's a correlation versus causation. And you're just trying to trip me into injury reports that I'm not responsible for yet, right? What? I think there's a lot of things that go that are involved when you're talking about the roster, and when moves are made. Sometimes they have to do with the position group. Sometimes they have to do with the overall complexion of a different position group. That's always adjusting. It was a tough decision to let go of Jack. He's a good player and will do tremendous things in this league, I think. But overall, Aaron included, I feel I feel very confident in where we're at from the offensive line position, and that confidence comes from not 2023 or a version that maybe people are exposed to. I'm talking about 2024, these individuals and the group, and what I've watched every practice, and or even to the point of how we blocked Atlanta's defensive line in joint versus a year ago. The group itself has given me confidence because I don't base any of my thoughts or opinions on the former production or the former self of someone. I let them define what they are right in front of me that day. So the group is given me more confidence at the O-line position, really in general, than I've had since I've been here.
And then with Anthony Walker, has he just been injured? Do you expect him back soon?
Oh, he's made his presence known within the team. We've just we like to give you surprise parties and surprise visuals. He's working his way back. He's been a part of walkthroughs and making sure we don't have any setbacks as he gets himself more involved in full speed stuff. He's one of my favorite individuals on the whole team. Really, really grown to have an appreciation for him. Just and you talk about a galvanizing person and a teammate. He's created relationships that you'd be surprised, are only 6 months long. And I can't wait for him to play because you can tell his love for football by, he's a very high-spirited guy. But, man, conversations with him about football when he's unable to play football, just with me, I'm doing all the work. I'm doing the questions. He's not that excited to talk about it. He's a competitor. He's excited to get back, and he's done himself well by not having any setbacks in the process of getting back on the field.
Has Brewer tried snapping yet, or is that a next week thing?
Well, yes, that's part of gripping, is part of the process of his return. He's doing well, and I'm very comfortable with his projection. Which, what is that projection? Well, it's not league mandated, I tell you, Joe. And it's no offense to you. It's more being responsible with competitive advantages.
Mike, from a play calling perspective, how much do you have ready now that you purposely save, understanding it's very important to win the games in January and beyond?
Well, I think it's more of a constant evolution from where guys are at, what things they're good at, what you're working on, and what enables you to do the next step. It's a evolution that it's not like you ever save bullets. It's more I look at it from the lens of, all right, if you execute something properly, if it's impactful enough to be an explosive gain or a big play, then people have to address it and try to take it away, and so that you anticipate that, and that shapes how you do things moving forward. There's always so much learning involved in this job, and particularly calling plays at an NFL level. You in one season, at the end of the season, I feel like a different play caller than how you start it. You learn just a ton of different things on the ramifications of different decisions you make, and I think every year it's gotten a lot easier to call plays in training camp off the script and move the ball situations, and in preseason games it just becomes more natural to your game day experience for me, which is I've been fortunate enough to have two years and can't wait to start the third.
Mike, I wanted to ask you.
What's your view on how the size of a player's contract should impact the expectations of him on the field? And I guess particularly with Tua, should there be heightened expectations for him in 2024 because he's gotten this contract?
Well, I think expectations are important from one vantage point, for the personal expectations that one has for themselves. I think it's very important to draw a line between your input and what you are executing in a play and the result. So I think those expectations of how you do your job, and then a bigger understanding about how much other people have to do with your job. I think as you're on a journey to earn, whether it's a position, you're on the journey to be a starting quarterback, then you're on the journey to solidify yourself with a commitment from the franchise, and then the second you do that, then it just transfers to, okay, well, I'm inherently you want to prove your worth. So I think naturally it's important to have expectations evolve over time. If you're trying to be the best version of yourself, you better be getting better, because if you're not, you're getting worse. But then I think it's also you have to understand the bigger picture, and how you can't how truly dependent you are on teammates to execute their jobs, so that you don't get caught up in the fake land of result based opinions that have a lot to do with a lot of other people. So I think the standard, and really what Tua asks from himself on a day-to-day basis, his standard of how how locked in he needs to be, and it all starts with him, and he's really embraced that, where there's no days off when you are in a situation where you're the highest paid employee. If you want to be on a good team, then you better bring everything that you can control, or you should have nothing more than marginal expectations for your team at best, if you don't put that have that mindset on a daily basis and dictate the terms that you want your teammates to follow. So I think that's fair. It's very natural. I think it's you'd have to be completely unaware not to expect external expectations will adjust. But I think it's important that you focus on your internal expectations because that's the best way to lend the most powerful results that hopefully satisfy all your friends, fans, and every other person.
I wanted to ask you about Calais Campbell. You know, with preseason in the books, we obviously know the experience that he brings to this team. Was there something that surprised you as a player and as a person from him?
Yeah, he's, having played high school football at the same time in the same state, not in the same conference, but as Calais, there's a lot of things that surprised me. I think bottom line, you are so hard pressed to find someone that's able to execute their job at the level he executes it, like even at the least taxing physical positions. There's how many quarterbacks are older than him in the National Football League? Probably wow. One. There's only one. So but like he is doing his job over a crazy amount of time at a high level from the one technique all the way to the five technique, like from next to the center all the way to on the outside of the tackle. And to be, it just takes such a tremendous person to be able to do what he's done and continues to do in his career. The exuberance that he has to attack every day, what that takes in terms of preparation for your body, and you can't fake that career. You have to truly love football, love team, and he exudes that every day. I tell you what, it's such a powerful piece to this team, because you want to talk about things that are left unsaid, but like I just know his teammates that are 15 years younger than him have a hard time not finishing a drill, finishing a play, straining, and having exuberance to come to work every day when they're watching him do that. The level of guilt that and expectations of how you should go about your job are just raised when you have someone that has operated at such a high level, and part of his success is all of his preparation and really diligence to take care of his body and to execute fundamentals and techniques. So that I knew he was going to be an important part of the team. I knew that he's a absolute freak in terms of being able to play that position for that long and at such a high level. I didn't necessarily really think through the natural influence that on a day-to-day basis, him chopping wood and going about his job, how motivating that would be for his peers. That he's, I think he was in college when the iPod came out. That's pretty amazing that he's then now executing jobs that guys were barely alive when he started executing that job. He's doing it alongside him, so he's an inspiring person and player, and we're very fortunate to have him.
So you guys had to be a couple years apart. What are your memories of him as a high school prospect in Colorado?
In early 2000s, there was this monstrosity of a human in Denver, Colorado athletics, or Colorado football. There's some good players come out there, but it's not Florida, Texas, California type stuff. And he was getting recruited to the U. So you know how many players from Colorado were getting recruited to the U in the early 2000s? Yeah. Right, and I mean, yeah, it was a guy that I have no problem stating that if he was about to tackle me as a high schooler, I was submitting, or I was turning the down. Okay, there wasn't people built like him anywhere really, but especially in Colorado. It's so pretty much every person of my age range still follows him because he was a unicorn for sure coming out of old Denver, Colorado football.
Mike, question about your locker room seating chart. My annual question about the seating chart. Yeah, question to follow up.
For this.
Yeah. There was something that I noticed in there. Jordan Poyer between Tua and Kader Kohu. Chop Robinson near Raheem, Mo Kamara near Chubb. What is there any seating arrangement that you're really proud of that you say I did a good job?
You know, what's funny is it's one of my first decisions I make in a football year. So that's really funny your interest in something that like I was deep diving in thought, but it was months ago. You know, so it's cool to hear your musings of it. It is calculated in terms of trying to. I always look at it like this: you spend a ton of time with specific people in the course of the year, your position group, namely, during the course of the year NFL season. You're talking about all these meetings that you go to, and you have your boys. And then you go to stretch, and it's the same thing. Individual is the same thing. Then in practice, you're subbing in and out with your position coach. There's so much time spent with specific players, and then you also, at the same time, there's so much time over the course of the year spent at your locker. So the locker seat or the locker design for me is as simple as trying to connect players that for one reason or another, I think it would be interesting if they connected. Most of the time, forecasting that they're not spending 3/4 of their day with them, like their position, like the players in their position group. So, and then, I think it's if there's somebody that is maybe got a low-key personality, but has is pretty funny, and has maybe some subtle dry humor to him. I think it's added value for the team if I put an overtly loud, humorous guy next to them, and be like, hey, we're kind of the same, even though we're way different. That type of stuff. So I think the connectivity of the team. I try to have an impact on that with locker room selection, and I mean you can I'm pretty predictable. If there are the situations where in training camp, I have a pretty strong memory with this type of stuff, but in training camp, if somebody gets in a fight with another player, probably in a year you're going to be sitting next to him, just because that's my speed.
Can you talk about why Tanner Connor made the 53 and what Eric Ezukama, that rhymes, needs to do to get back to the 53? Connor and Ezukama.
Yeah, I'm just caught up in your wordplay there. So Tanner Connor, really cool year off season for him. I think a lot of the stuff his teammates were first had firsthand experience with his journey in terms. He was a position switch. He was a wide receiver that we moved to tight end, and now owns the entire playbook. One of the rare players that there's probably like three, probably my whole in my whole career that knows fullback and then can line up at the slot receiver and run 2-minute, which is all memorized word association. So there's nobody that has the I don't know, the rules of our offense and how to execute at every level down more than Tanner Connor does. And I'm excited for what he has in store for the Dolphins, both on offense and on special teams. And then Eric Ezukama is, really like where he's at, because he's on our team. And for me, there's a lot of players that, I look at it as a 69er with the extra international players, 70-man roster, and how you're able to get that and get the best version of that. Sometimes you're on the active roster, sometimes you're a practice squad player that has to be flexed up. There's a lot of different things that go on in that. I like where he's at. I think the team likes where he's at, just based upon the reactions to him, and still have very high expectations for him and the group.
You saw from Grant goals that made him a playing guy.
That's it's something that had knew of him coming out. So and when you're high on specific players that you're kind of targeting in different areas of the draft or wherever, and then another team takes him, you pay attention. So have been paying attention to his game, and I think also it didn't hurt that I have a strong relationship that's very communicative with their head coach Matt LaFleur, so I kind of knew what Grant was like day in, day out, and for what we're trying to do and the roles that we have on our team, thought he was a very good fit for his skill sets and what we're looking for to add to our wide receiver room. So the connectivity of what he has done, it was very, very clear, and what he could offer us in terms of adding to the group. It was a really good fit, and very, very happy that we got that claim.
This offseason, the majority of your moves on the offensive line was retaining the incumbents. I'm curious to hear how you would describe the value of chemistry and continuity in that group, in the system.
Well, particularly in the way we play football, you would be. Well, I've just had the fortune of being in the same system for 18 years, and in that process, you learn that it's if you prejudge something early in the process and understanding how to truly execute this scheme, if you take that as if you take a player in year one and forecast that as being how he'll be in the system, you're wrong way more than you're right. So that, and then you just get so much invaluable information from each and every player when you go through a journey of a season. And in that, I know if we didn't have the right type of combination of people and skill set, we wouldn't have just stayed steadfast, or the moves would probably be a lot different. I think you react to what people show you who they are day in, day out. In this circumstance, we had some some guys that were really buying in, that started to make plays in their respective roles and assignments, and so you decide that, hey, no, I want to invest in these guys more. What I can say honestly, from hours upon hours upon hours of instruction and then evaluation, the group has really proven the organization right into believing in them based upon how they are performing, which is, what would be interesting is asking any veteran defensive linemen on the different versions of players that the different version of Liam Eichenberg when we got here into where he is now, the different version of Austin Jackson. It goes across the board, and I think it speaks to even Teron Armstead is feeling more confident in his game than he ever has in his career. And you're talking about one of those guys that's one of those super athletes that is the fastest O-lineman ever at the combine. In where he's at in his game, feeling more confident in playing football than he ever has in his career. That's because there's a group of people diligently working at their craft, excited to make a name for themselves under the current version of who they are in 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you.